is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Padres, Chargers, and Aztec sports.
Gotta hit it to the right place. And he hits it out to center. Right center. Blackmon's got a long way to go. He's still going.
Off the wall.
And it is off the wall. It takes a funny hop. Kemp is rounding second. He's heading to third.
Gotta go.
And Matt Kemp into third base with a triple and the first cycle in the history of the San Diego Padres.
He will hand it off. Tomlinson plows his way towards the goal line. LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality. Tomlinson has tied the single-season record. And the handoff to Tomlinson. Left side, and he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Pope thought about it. Now steps up. And the freshman hits the jumper at the buzzer.
Well, this kid is some prospect. Big time length, big time game.
Pope straight away three. Count it. Malik Pope. Pope off classic Gula. On the other end, Joel doesn't miss that one. Shepard alley-oop to Pope. He got up there. Oh, wow.
It's time to let your voice be heard.
All right, it is Sunday. It is 9 o'clock. That means it's time for the San Diego Sports Junkies pregame show, a show for the fans.
By the fans.
I'm in studio here. I'm Jason Eidsmoe. I have Justin Smead, of course, joining us. It looks like Mike Maciejewski is trying to call in, but it's not working. Hold on one second, Mike. Real quickly, Saints are coming to town. What are your initial thoughts of that? I know that there's a lot of Drew Brees fans here in San Diego. What are your thoughts about the Saints coming to town?
Well, immediately you think shootout when two offenses get together. The Breeze element comes into play. You think about that right away, what he's going to be going through. He hasn't played here since he left, so I think immediately you just think of high scoring, and it's going to be a kind of a two prolific offenses and two kind of mediocre defenses going at each other. So we'll see what happens.
You know, one thing that to me that people don't understand, everybody looks at what Drew Brees has done in New Orleans, and they're big fans of Drew Brees, and a lot of people didn't want to see Drew Brees leave. Let's be honest, he was not the same quarterback in San Diego that he's been in New Orleans, and maybe that's because he got a little bit older, he got a little bit more experience, he went into a different offense. But we drafted a quarterback for a reason, you know.
Right.
And I know that his last year here, before he hurt his shoulder, he had a pretty solid season. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the Drew Brees that everybody saw in the Super Bowl and stuff was not the Drew Brees that was playing here in San Diego. Not that he would have been there, but, you know, people got to remember that.
Right. No, I think for everybody that remembers that point in time in Chargers history when they were coming to the crossroads and he injured that shoulder, I think it was a perfect way to get rid of Drew Brees because I feel like they wanted Phillip Rivers to be the future because they weren't sure about Drew yet. And they knew he was a decent quarterback, but he hadn't grown into what they wanted. And him with the shoulder injury just gave him an out and said, see you later. And then that turned the page to Phillip. Yeah.
And and we'll be talking about Drew Brees when we get more into the Chargers on defense. But I do want to remind everybody, if you're listening to us live on Spreaker, we want to say thank you. Join us in the chat room. You can also listen to us on iTunes, on iHeart, on TuneIn, and on Stitcher. We're here every Sunday from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Every Wednesday night, also live 7 o'clock till whenever we feel like turning the show off. Also, a couple things we have to look forward to today. Phillip Rivers currently is tied with Stan Humphries for the most passes to open up a season without a touchdown, and that's 99, and that's a Chargers record.
Wow!
So the first throw he makes today, as long as it's not intercepted, he's going to set the record, which is kind of cool. You know, ultimately, I think Phillip Rivers. You know, for those of us who you know, Stan Humphries, I was a big fan of his, of course, and for those of us who are old enough to remember Dan Fouts, I have to say that. That Phillip Rivers is probably the best quarterback we've had in the history of the team, including Dan Fouts, I think. And I was a big Dan Fouts fan.
Yeah, no, I think Philip rewrites the record books each and every week going forward here. I mean, it's always something new with him, and that's a pretty cool record. I'm glad he's kept the ball out of the other opponent's hands this year. It's been nice to see he hasn't made a big mistake. But yeah, that would be cool to see. I think this is going to be a 45 to 50 throw game for him. I really believe that. I hope not. I hope it's more of a running attack and we can have success on the ground. But if they struggle early, and it's shown this year, they're going to be throwing the ball. They're going to be just throwing it all over the field.
Looks like we're being joined by Mike Maciejewski. Mikey, how's it going, man?
It's going well. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I'm in the middle of driving here, so I still wanted to get on the show here.
That's all right. What's up, Mikey?
We're talking about your and Hal's least favorite quarterback in the NFL, and that's Philip Rivers.
What do you think about, man?
I want to thank Requested also for joining us in the chat room. I also want to say hi to everybody that's down at H3 right now. Anybody down there listening? You guys. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself and have a really good time at the game. We're going to be sometime this season. We're going to head down there and do a pregame show from H3. Philip Rivers. He's also 4 touchdown passes away from tying Johnny Unitas' 10th all time. There's an actual, I know I'm a homer and I'm a big fan, but it's not out of the realm to say that he could maybe even do that today. With the defense that we're facing, first of all, you think that there's a shot of him tying Johnny Unitas today, there, Mikey?
Oh, definitely. The same defense is right for the picking. If you saw the game against the Falcons last week, their safeties were terrible. I mean, I can't remember the one guy specifically kept getting called out by Gruden, but this was Matt Ryan, who's a decent quarterback, but Matt Ryan is, in my opinion, not as good as Philip Rivers. So I think Philip can definitely exploit this matchup, and I think, again, offensively, I feel like this is a really good litmus test for the offense, see how good they really can be.
Yeah, I think that you're right. And I worry a tiny bit because sometimes we come out against really bad teams and real bad defenses, and we don't exploit them right away. The other stat that I wanted to look at that has absolutely no chance of getting tied today, and that's Antonio Gates is 6 touchdowns away from the most for a tight end. Tony Gonzalez has that record at 111, so that's going to put him at 100. Antonio Gates 105. He's probably never going to play today. And that'll move us into the injuries. Justin Jaleel Addae is out. Brandon Flowers is out. Joey Bosa out, which, by the way, anybody who has listened Wednesday, that makes me right because I was the only one who said Joey Bosa wasn't playing this week. You guys all said he was playing. Finally, Jason's right. King Dunlap they have as doubtful with the migraines. My assumption is he's going to be out, and Antonio Gates is doubtful as well. Which most likely means he's going to probably be out too. The defensive guys really worry me more, to be honest with me. Not only that, Jatavius Brown is still being bothered by a hamstring. When he's been on the field, I love what I see. The guy just can't get on the field. He's kind of a little bit, he's so far, I know it's early in his career, he's got a little bit of the Jason Verrett disease where when you see him play, you love it. But he doesn't always get on the field. Are you concerned with these injuries, Justin?
Yeah, the defensive side concerns me a lot. I mean, you're growing up against one of the highest scoring offenses in football. Jaleel Addae is a presence back there. When you don't have one of your starting corners back there, your number 2 guy, that's concerning. So when you add all these things up, there's just nobody to stop anybody else. And when you have to put Craig Mager in a starting role because you have so many injuries, it's just not good.
Yeah, and Jason Verrett did not show up on the injury report so far. He looked like he was limping around a little bit last week, and he had a little bit of a rough week. Mikey, are you concerned with the health of Jason Verrett, or do you think he's going to be all right today?
I think Verrett should be okay. Just the injuries overall, though, I agree with Justin, the fact that, having so many guys hurt against the Saints offense is going to be really tough. But I will say some of these names, with Addae, that's one less personal penalty there, so that's good. And then I think Jamie said Flowers is out, and that was good for I forgot who. and that was good for Willie Snead. And I was like, the only way it could have been better was Flowers was actually playing. So I think Casey Hayward has done a great job, and I expect to see him jump into that number 2 role because I'm really, you guys know me, I've been really big on Hayward since we got him, or since the first show that we talked about him. And I feel like, yeah, it's going to be tough overall, but I'm hoping some of these guys will step. I think some of the smaller injuries, not two we mentioned right now, will be bigger, but Rhett should do fine. But again, you got Willie Snead and even that Michael Thomas kid in the Saints can do some damage. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think our defensive backs are going to have their hands full, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get into the defensive side of the ball. I thought maybe we'd take a quick break right now. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about what the Chargers need to do when we're on offense facing their defense. See the things that they're going to do that are going to be successful, and what they need to avoid doing. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back on the other side, guys.
Calling all podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.net.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
All right, we are back. We are going to be starting to talk about the Chargers when they are on offense. Different
hey, Jason,
things. Yes, sir.
Let me just get you really quick. Just this is a fun fact for all the listeners right now. If you guys remember YouTube sensation Sexy Sex Man, that's his first original score. Just so you guys know.
What was that?
If you guys remember the YouTube sensation, the Sexy Sax Man, that was his first original score that we just played.
Was it?
You know? Yeah, the more you know.
That's so funny that you knew that. I'm just what it actually is for me is it's just no copyright music. That's what I've been looking for. We're trying to not play illegal music.
It's got a good elevator lounge type of feel.
Yeah.
Like you're in a hotel.
Hey, guys.
Let me see here. David Drugmeyer has been trying to call in because he's going to be part of it, and it's not working here today. We were having some problems. With it last Wednesday. It looks like we're still having problems. I updated Skype, and for some reason it's not letting me take phone calls. So sorry about that, David. He is in the chat room, so hopefully we can get some contribution from him in the chat room. But it's for some reason the phone line's not working, so I'll have to work on that this week. We're used to that here. That's the way things go. Chargers on offense. I have some keys. A lot of these are obvious, but I have a few keys for the Chargers to win the game. My first key is to run the ball. Real easy to say. That's what everybody says. That's what we say every single week. But last week, I don't think they really gave up on the run like everybody thinks. I just think it wasn't successful. I think that they did try and run the ball. I think the offensive line needs to play much better. I know we have some injuries. The real thing is whether they're running it from under center or whether they're running it from the shotgun. I could care less as long as they're being successful running it. They were, to me, it seemed like they were having just as much trouble underneath center as they were from the shotgun, and nothing really seemed to be working. Do you agree, Justin, or do you think that they got away from the run? You look like you're kind of shaking your head and making funny faces.
No, I disagree a little bit because last week in crucial situations they didn't run the football and they had success earlier in the game. And Melvin Gordon he was running the football fine, and it seems like they went away again at certain times of the game. So they have to exploit the Saints defensive line today because they're awful. You know, they have to run the football with him. He's a bulldozer. He has to get extra yards, 5, 6, 7. Can make second down short for Phillip to throw long to the wide receivers. So they have to get established. They can't go away from it in the third and fourth just because the passing game's working a little better. They have to keep running football.
I love that point. And another thing is people are running up the score on the Saints. Don't fall into that trap thinking,
exactly.
we can expose these guys and let's just throw the ball. I'm fine with them running it. It doesn't need to be a high scoring game.
No, and that's where I agree with you. I think that's what the misconception is about this offense. We have a running game this year that the O-line I know is a little banged up and all that, but they're still running and being productive in the run game. So don't just shy away from it. Get it going and then get your passing game going.
Hey, Mikey, do you think the Chargers have been characteristically getting too far away from the run game this year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it's something we talk about every week, because Melvin Gordon's doing really well. Let's be honest. There's no other way to say he's playing really well when he's out there. The offensive line's getting a better push. There's bigger holes. I mean, we remember last year arguing whether Melvin Gordon's lack of success was because there was a lack of holes on the offensive line or push or what it was, or if it was with him. But those things seem to be corrected this year. So, in my opinion, I'm feeling like if they can just stick to it, I mean, this is what we said, and I think you brought up a good point, Jason. Just because you see that you can beat them over the top doesn't mean you need to.
Right.
There's something to be said about controlling the clock and keeping your defense fresh. Because when the defense is out there, they're going to have a hard time keeping up with Drew Brees and that offense. So give them enough time to rest, because we know that the Saints can be very fast. So, controlling the clock is going to be really important.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that I'm still trying to we're still trying to work with getting David here onto the thing. Well, let's see if I can get him in here. The next key that I have is Phillip Rivers needs to get on the same page with Dexter McCluster. I think we lost a lot when Danny Woodhead went out. That's a real easy, simple statement to make, but we lost a huge key of our offense. McCluster looked like he was having some success, and he was getting open, and Phillip Rivers was not able to find him. I think the two of them need to get on the same page. Do you think that was you're shaking your head? I got a nod from Justin this time.
No, I agree. That has to be first and foremost with him. He has to get caught up to speed. I know he knew some of the offense from Tennessee, but he has to get involved. We miss Danny Woodhead's presence. He's the closest thing we have. He has to be on the same page. You could see it last week. There were missed opportunities in the passing game with McCluster on the field. You cannot miss on those opportunities. Wide open, just poorly thrown footballs, maybe a misdirection where Phillip didn't know where he was going to be. That's all part of the process, but he has to get integrated into this offense to be successful.
Yes, Mikey, what are your thoughts on Dexter McCluster making him part of the offense?
I mean, he's got to have a bigger role. He's got to, like you said, I think not being in sync with Phillip is pretty apparent. So obviously, you're going to need Dexter McCluster to bring in a different skill set than Melvin Gordon, and you're definitely going to need him to show up and just contribute in a different way. Be that change of pace guy that we really expected him to be when he came in here.
Next key that I have, Hunter Henry has to move on. Another thing that I'm sure a ton of people are saying, but the bottom line is he needs to have a big game. Antonio Gates is probably going to be out again. He had a decent game last year. Had he not fumbled on that last play and we went down and scored, we would have all been talking about how great of a game he had. I like what he brings to the. I like what he brings to the offense with his blocking abilities. I think that he's more diverse than Antonio Gates is. I think he's faster than Antonio Gates. I think he's younger than Antonio Gates. But he needs to be a bigger part of this offense as well. I'm a little disappointed so far, actually. I thought that they would have got him more active so far. But I think this is a big week. There's a big opportunity for him to be part of the offense.
I totally agree with you, Jason. If the question is directed at me, I have him in one of my fantasy leagues this week, just because I think this could be his breakout week as a NFL a pro. So getting him integrated into the offense, as we've seen, it's been more of the run game. He's getting a catch here and there. You can see his speed. I think it was last week, just broke away from coverage down the sideline. Phillip dropped a dime on him, and it was a gain of like 30, 35 yards. It was easy pitch and catch, because the matchup with a linebacker, you can't match him up because he's too fast and he's too big, and he can go up and get the football. I'm so excited to see the progression of Hunter Henry. This kid, would knock on wood, barring any kind of injury, we don't need any more of those. This kid could be something special, and you're right, Jason. They have to get this guy involved in the passing game.
I completely agree, Justin. What do you? I mean, Mikey, what are your thoughts on Hunter Henry so far this season?
Hunter Henry, he's done well. I'm a little. What can I say? Obviously, the first 2 games were underwhelming, but his improvement last week was definitely not a great surprise, but expected what we thought he would be when we drafted him that high. So I feel like he can just continue to develop. Here's another opportunity for him to become that go-to guy in the tight end position while Gates is out.
We've been joined by David Drogmeyer from the San Diego Sports Domination podcast. He ended up being able to make it in this morning. David, we're talking about Hunter Henry. Do you think it's time for him to take that next step? Do you think that he's been a little bit underutilized so far this year?
He's definitely been underutilized. I don't think there's any question about that. You've seen how effective he's been in the run game, as he's a very, very polished blocker, something that the Chargers have not had. They've added, they've had additional tight ends on the roster just to block, and Hunter Henry's one of those hybrids that can block and catch well. He fumbled once in college, and he never fumbled again after that. So hopefully this is just an anomaly. You fumble, it's the same kind of thing with college where he fumbles once, gets it out of his system, and he gets back out there and performs, because this guy's got all the physical tools to be great. And I believe Philip Rivers is going to target him a lot against this very weak Saints defense.
Yeah, I think that we built him into something that wasn't fair either when we talked about no drop passes and no fumbles and all of that. So I agree. I think get that out of the way. Everybody knew he was going to eventually fumble or drop a pass. Justin, my next key for the Chargers offense, Dontrelle Inman needs to show up. He's been very quiet this year. He's been in the league long enough. I know he's not been a superstar, but he's been on this team for quite a few years. He's had big games. Dontrelle Inman needs to go up there and have a huge game today, I think. He needs to go out there. He needs to catch 5 balls. He needs to get us a touchdown. He needs to get us, 80 yards. It's time for him to show up. The spotlight is there. We've had a couple injuries. This team is ripe to give up some yards. What are your thoughts on Inman? Are you ready to see him maybe make something happen here?
I completely agree with you, Jace.
I can't believe how much we're agreeing today.
It's weird, but this is one of my guys that I expected to see a little more out of. I'm not disappointed because of all the injuries, and I think Benjamin and Tyrell are the focal point right now. But Inman has to be that third guy. And if he's not, I'm really interested in, what a kid like Griff Whalen could provide for this team. I don't know if you've seen him or even, seen his tape or anything, but kid can play as well. So if he's not going to step up, I would like to see some competition there from Griff Whalen to push him, because I think he can provide a spark as well. So yes, I think Dontrelle needs to step up, or he's going to lose his job. And I think a good candidate would be Griff Whalen to take his spot.
Yeah, I have an interesting. I got some predictions for the final segment, a couple bold ones, and Griff Whalen is involved in that. David, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's time for Inman to step up and be a bigger part of this team?
if Dontrell Inman's going to step up at any point in the season, it's got to be today because this is the worst defense in the NFL, and it's not close. The defense is horrible.
Right.
So everybody, and I'm not even just Dontrell Inman, but everybody should be eating very, very well today because, I mean, I saw a comment in the comment section. They said Mr. Bird is out there, super high paid safety. They benched him. So, I mean, if there's going to be a game in the 16 games that they play in the regular season where Dontrell Inman has a great game, it has to be today.
Agreed.
Yeah, I want to also welcome Vince Wright to the chat room from Minnesota. He's in there. He says, good luck today in the game. I'm trying to go back through our chat to see who else, because I saw a few more people jump in there, but I can't make it go back.
Requested is in there as well.
Requested is in there as well, yeah, and there's somebody else, and I missed it. Anyways, thank you, everybody who's in the chat room. My last point, and so far I've been getting a lot of agreement out of Justin. If you have anything else after this one, Justin, also feel free to add in, of course. Okay. No penalties against a weak defense. We all know that this defense that we're playing against is not very good. Don't give them any freebies. No holds to make yourself, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20. No stupid, false starts. This defense is ripe. There's no reason we should give them free stuff. And I think it's really, really important. We're playing at home. The crowd will be mostly on our side. I know there's some Breeze fans that are going to be in the stands. I'm not sure why. But don't give them any freebies, Make them earn every single stop they make, every single play they make on defense, make them earn it. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, no, you have to be disciplined, especially against a weak defense. Don't make boneheaded mistakes. Now, if the Chargers feel like they should be 3-0, which I believe they do, I think a lot of, the Kansas City game, obviously, and then last week, they let the game slip away. We all feel that way, I think, as fans. For me, if you feel that way and you feel like you should be 3-0, you need to come out here and establish a tone and a dominance and a presence. Don't act like you're not the superior team on the field. If you feel like you should be 3-0 right now, don't act like a 1-2 team then. That's my whole point. Go out there, establish, play simple-minded football, be fundamentally sound, and don't give up stupid penalties. No personal foul calls after a long play. Don't be boneheaded. Go out and play football and kick their ass because you feel like you should be 3-0.
Good. I love it, Justin. I love it. I think that this show we've agreed more than any other show ever. David, anything to add on that?
Yeah, but just to be more specific about what he was saying is, I sensed watching that Colts game that the Chargers were just super flat.
Right.
They had no energy. There was no excitement like there was against the Jaguars. I need to see that again. I need to see them come out and be aggressive and have energy and be excited and go celebrate the good plays you guys make. Get on each other, but bring the energy. I need to see it at home. There should be a good crowd. I have a couple of my buddies from San Diego Sports Domination that are in the parking lot right now tailgating, and they said it's filling up fast. So we should have a good home field advantage. And bring that energy, because when you bring that energy, the crowd feeds off of it, the players feed off of it. So go out there and bring it all 60 minutes.
Yeah, good call. A couple things to look for on the Saints defense. I know that they don't have the greatest defense. You did mention Jarius Byrd. He might start, he might not start. It looks like he lost his starting position, but he does seem like he has a nose for the football. So be a little bit concerned about that. James Laurinaitis, I know the Rams cut him. He was cut for a reason. He's a tackling machine. I hope he leads the team in tackles 8 or 9 yards down the field. I would love to see that. I would love to see Melvin Gordon dragging him down. You look at the stat sheet and you go, wow, Laurinaitis had 14 tackles, Maybe 14 tackles after we got some first downs. I would love to see that. But maybe play a little bit of Donnie Edwards football.
There you go.
Anybody else you guys think that we should be kind of looking out for on the defense? Justin, you have anybody in mind?
No.
I got one individual.
No.
Who you got, David?
Nobody.
Cameron Jordan. Cameron Jordan is the NFL top 100 player last year. I mean, this guy's a pretty decent pass rusher. Honestly, he's the best defensive player they got, and it's not even close. So the only guy that I got on the Saints defense that you need to watch out for is Cameron.
Well, if it's only one, then I'm sleeping
I'm
like
fine
a
with
baby.
that.
I'm good to go. Like, that's not
And
concerning.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
No, and you're completely right. They have nobody but him. That's it.
I love it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about what the Chargers need to do when Drew Brees, when the great and awesome Drew Brees, as a lot of people here in San Diego think of him, when he's on the field and our defense is on the field. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Your business project that is due. Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Oh, much better bumper music. I think that at least on game day we need to play the Charger songs, and who cares about copyright? Wednesday show we'll leave that other stuff up there.
Sure.
Love this song, man. Love this song.
I love it too, buddy.
Chargers on defense. It's going to be an interesting game because the Saints do have right now. Drew Brees is leading the league in completions, in yards, in touchdowns. He's got a 105 rating. We've got a little bit of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. First of all, before I start going through my keys, any generalizations you want to make about the Saints offense? What we have to look for? What do you got, Justin?
Well, you're going to look for a high potent offense. I mean, there's no really other way to kind of they spread you out. They'll mix in Mark Ingram, and he's a bulldog. They're going to try to run the football. If that's not successful, they're going to air it out 50 times. That's just how they are. They're set up for pass-happy offense. Drew Brees' offense traditionally are highest amounts thrown in the league. They're usually up there at the top 5. But if Brees is going to throw 50 times a day, 45 times a day, that's probably not a good thing for them.
Right.
That's not a good thing for any offense. You don't want to throw that many times. So, that's it. And they're just high potent. We know what to expect on the offensive side of the ball from them.
What do you expect on from Drew Brees and their offense there, David?
Well, yeah, I mean he's pretty spot on as far as definitely high potent, pass happy. They pretty much they're pretty one dimensional. I mean, no offense to Mark Ingram, but I mean he's a running back that needs to.
They try to.
Yeah, they try,
but they
definitely
they're
try.
Not very successful.
No, they're not. And when they'll probably start out the game to try and run the ball, but when they get stopped, and they will get stopped, they're gonna just pass it. And the one thing about the Saints offense that I wanted to touch on just briefly is they use a lot of misdirection in their plays and their play designs. So they're trying to get you to go one way and then they're going to throw it the other way. So definitely look out for that in this game.
I agree with that, and that's going to be one of I'll work that into one of my points. My first point, my first key here, and I actually disagree with both of you a little bit then, and that is to stop Mark Ingram. I know you said that they try. The problem is the style of running that Mark Ingram does wreaks havoc on our defense. It's that style we seem to give up 4, 5, 6 yards every single time. We cannot do that today. We have to stop Mark Ingram and make him run the ball for 1, 2, maybe 3 yards at the max. And that means the defensive line really, really has to clog that area up so they either they make the plays or the linebackers make the play. That kind of goes against what you guys said, but do you worry? Neither one of you are worried at all about Mark Ingram, Justin. He doesn't worry you. He doesn't worry you at all.
He worries me if early on in the game he gets going and we're not doing anything to stop him. If it's the second or third quarter and we've done a really good job of tightening up with Karan Reed and Philon and of course Mebane and Legit, those guys have to be instrumental today and bring their hard hat to work. And I feel like they're going to do a great job on this offensive line. I know we're banged up in the linebacking core a little bit, but I think the depth of our linebackers will really show today. And I believe they can swarm Mark Ingram and just make, like David was saying earlier, they're really just a one-dimensional team. They try to run the football. If we are successful stopping them early, they're going to have no choice but to just pass it 50 times. That's it.
David, any worries at all about Mark Ingram?
Yeah, well, I mean, to touch on, like I said before, Mark Ingram is the type of runner that needs a lot of reps to get going. He's not the type of guy that's going to break off a 25-yard run
right.
Being cold. It just doesn't happen. He's not that type of runner. So if he has early success, like Justin was saying, then yeah, it's a problem. But I honestly don't think he's going to have any early success. I think the Chargers defense is going to be fired up in front of a home crowd, and I think they're going to stop him early, and then they're going to eliminate him from the ball game. Although I will say they do need to keep an eye on him out of the backfield as a pass catcher because he has started to incorporate that into his game. So linebackers need to be on their P's and Q's and be gap sound.
I love that because you're right, and that's one of our weak points is covering the linebacker out of the backfield. So want to welcome SoCal Trav to the chat room. He's live down at H3 right now, so thanks for joining. I know there's a lot of stuff going on down there, so we appreciate you in the chat room. My next thing is Coby Fleener. We need to stop this guy. Lowry and Phillips and McCoy, whoever decide is going to be on that guy, needs to have some success against him. We've gotten raped by tight ends so far this year. And when you talk about the misdirection, this is one of the players that bothers me. Them running this fake misdirection stuff and then tossing it to him in the flat on the other side of the field with nobody around him so he can rumble for 25 yards. The Chargers need to figure out what to do with the tight ends. Coby Fleener is good tight end, and we need to stop him. Justin, do you think that we'll be able to do that?
Yeah, before the season started, when I saw that the Saints had picked up Coby Fleener, I thought that was a great match for Drew Brees. Going into the year, I think he had one really good game. He's starting to get more incorporated into their offense. I think he's a key role for them today. We're going to be so focused on the wideouts with Willie Snead coming back from injury. You got Brandon Cooks, who's just lightning fast. You would assume Jason Verrett's going to man up on him. And we don't know if Jason Verrett's, how healthy he is. But middle of the field, these linebackers, like you said, Jason, whether it's Dexter McCoy, put a size guy on him, which I like. I like that a lot, maybe to spy him, Rover, kind of his area. Yeah, you're going to have to do a good job because when the flats open up and the middle of the field opens up, Drew Brees is going to go to him all day. So they need to be quick step to the ball. If Jatavius Brown goes today, he needs to be on him all day and sometimes put two guys on him because they really only have the three guys. And, I mean, three guys is a lot to worry about, but Coby Fleener's that security guy for Drew Brees. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a big part of what we do on defense.
How important is it that we contain Coby Fleener, David?
Very, very, very important. And one thing I want to see the Chargers do to try and stop him or try to slow him down is I'd like to see them chip him at the line. Stop his momentum before it gets started. Get him going forward and then knock him back a little bit. Mess up his timing and just try to move him off his spot so he doesn't get where he needs to be when he needs to be there. That's something I haven't seen a whole lot this year, and I think they need to start doing that. And I think that'll definitely help the defense, give them a little bit more time to get in proper position to defend him.
Yeah, and I think that we'll be able to chip him more if the middle of our defensive line is getting pressure. What they're going to start doing, if we can't get pressure on Drew Brees, they're going to stop chipping him because they're going to want to get those outside guys getting pressure on him. So hopefully we can have some success up the middle, and we can afford to have our defensive ends chipping on him. Moving on to the defensive ends, our defense needs to rediscover Kyle Emanuel. Kyle Emanuel, I don't want to say he's having a terrible year. I mean, I don't see him making a bunch of mistakes, and maybe he's doing his assignments. We don't break down film, let's be honest here. But I don't see anything. I don't see him making any plays, really. I need to see Kyle Emanuel get rediscovered, make some plays, make some, a big third down play, get me a turnover, get a big sack, do something. He seems to have been a little MIA this year. Justin, you agree?
Agreed. I think, what a perfect time for him with the injuries now. They're going to rotate him in. He needs to do some things. What I've liked about Kyle Emanuel, when the flashes he's shown, he'll get to the line, and he's a versatile player, so he'll jump up to try to bat a ball down. He's quick around an end. Doesn't always mean he's going to get to the quarterback, but I do like some things about him. And I think with more playing time and more reps, Kyle Emanuel could turn into a really good, solid linebacker. I don't think you're going to confuse him with Junior Seau or anybody, but he's a very if he's going to be a player in this league, he's got to stay fundamentally sound, and he's got to do his job and focus on his assignments. I think this is a perfect opportunity for him going forward with some of the recent injuries.
David, am I wrong on Kyle Emanuel? Is he having a better season than I think, or has it just been a real quiet year for him so far?
No, I don't think he's been having a great season so far. And one thing that I've seen or have not seen from Kyle Emanuel is aggression. Aggression consistently throughout the game. I want to see Kyle Emanuel be ruthless, go out there and play with some reckless abandon and go knock some guys out. That's what I want to see. And I feel like if he does that, he's going to get more confidence. And when you guys all know in this league, confidence is extremely important.
Yes.
So if he makes a couple of good plays, knocks some guys on their butts, I think he's going to build that confidence, and he's going to be a better player because of it.
Agreed.
We talked a lot about this. I don't think we need to get too far into it. Brandon Cooks versus Jason Verrett. I think Verrett needs to try and hold him under 75 yards. I'm not going to be ridiculous and think that he's going to completely shut him down. But if he can keep him to under 75 yards and 0 touchdowns, I think that's a total victory for Verrett. Do you think that's possible? And do you like those numbers, or would you like to see something different, Justin?
Well, it concerns me because Ty is very similar to Brandon Cooks. And in their style, they're very quick off the ball. They're very explosive. Now, if Jason Verrett was dealing with something, obviously they're going to come out and say that, but there's been rumors that he is. I can see today Brandon Cooks having 100 yards and a touchdown. He's just that good. I'm not going to discredit his talent. He's so good. But if Jason Verrett's banged up in any way, that's not good for us going forward. I hope they can contain him. You can't stop a guy like that. He's going to get some catches. He's going to get big chunk plays at times. Now, what we have to do as a defense is not let them do that in the end zone. Bend but don't break type of defense against what we've touched on, a potent offense like Drew Brees and the Saints. So, yes, I'm concerned with it. He's just too good of a player not to have a decent day today against this banged-up secondary. I hate to say that, but it's the way it is.
For victory, what is Verrett versus Brandon Cooks? How does that have to result out there, David?
Well, I like what you're saying about keeping him under 100 yards, and I think having a safety over the top to kind of help with Brandon Cooks would probably be a smart move occasionally throughout the game. Obviously, you can't do it every play, but an obvious third, long passing downs, make sure you got a safety over the top to kind of help Jason, because we saw last week, he had some trouble with TY's speed. And, honestly, I think if Jason Verrett is 100%, we're not having this conversation. Yeah. But I think seeing him play last week, it's very clear that he's not at 100%, and he's going out there and he's doing the best he can. And you have to admire that as well. But I mean, you got to contain Brandon Cooks, and obviously he likes to go long, so make sure that you got that safety over the top to help him.
This is another good opportunity for Dwight Lowry to come in and show why they brought him in. He's got a lot of doubters so far. Last week on the show, I got laughed off the show because I said he's one of the guys that needs to step up and be more of a leader. This is an opportunity for him. We're going to take one last break. We're going to come back on the other side. We're going to give our predictions, what we think that how we think the game is going to go, how and last thing we're going to get a player that Justin's going to pick on the Chargers that is going to be your must-start for your fantasy team to have a victory today. Of course, it has to be a Charger. We don't care about the stupid Saints. We'll be back in a minute.
The West Coast is back, better respect the name. It's the San Diego Chargers, feel the lightning bang.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Now sing the anthem so the whole world can hear you.
Another great song, POD. We try and play this each week also. It's prediction time. It's my favorite time of the show and most people's least favorite time of the show. It's when we have to make our predictions, what we think is going to happen today during the game. I'm gonna start it off, and then we'll go to you guys. I got the Chargers winning this game. I got the Chargers offense playing pretty well. I think that we're going to establish the run. I think that we're going to actually get more running yardage that most people expect. It's not going to be like a 400-yard game from Phillip Rivers. I see most of the damage being done on the ground. I see the Chargers winning 32-24. My player of the game, somebody that I talked about needs to step up, Dontrell Inman. I think that we're going to get a big game out of Dontrell Inman. And then I have a few bold predictions here. Everybody knows who listened to the show during the preseason when we were making some bold predictions earlier. I predicted my boy Craig Mager would have 3 interceptions this year. I'm going to hedge my bet a little bit today. I'm going to say either Craig Mager or Pierre Desir gets 1 interception today. One of them will get an interception today. Justin, I finally got Justin to disagree with me. He's shaking his head violently. I also have Griff Whalen getting a big 3rd down catch today. I don't think he's going to catch the ball 6 or 7 times, but I think he'll get 1 big catch on 3rd down today. And I hope I know the Chargers defense sits and listens to every one of our pregame shows. The Saints will run 1 flea flicker today. Be ready for it. It's going to happen. 1 flea flicker from the Saints. Hopefully we can shut it down. I'd love to see.
And that'll be all of Brandon Cooks' yardage today.
Yeah, or I'd love to see that's where one of my boys gets an interception. Right. Justin, what's your predictions?
Well, I'm going to go. My score might shock you guys. 42-17 for me. Chargers win this game. They roll today. I feel like, when I watched the Jags and they came home after that loss, the loss meant something to them, and they came out and established dominance, and they beat their ass. I feel that way this week. I feel like they're going to establish a presence. 42-17, Chargers roll. My player of the game is going to be Dexter McCluster out of the backfield in the passing game. He's going to be my fantasy guy too to start today in a PPR league. He's a great flex option today. He's going to get more involved in this offense each week. I'm looking for 6 catches, 100 yards, and 2 TDs a day. He's going to go off, and that's just what I am feeling it. I'm feeling a Dexter McCluster a blowout today. What about you, David?
I got the Chargers winning as well. I just think that the Chargers defense is better than the Saints defense, so the Chargers defense are going to get more stops than the Saints are. I think that's pretty easy to say. I'm going to go 35-24. I think the Chargers win this one pretty easily. It's just, like I said, the defense on the Chargers side is just a lot better. Bold prediction, Melvin Gordon goes 120 plus and gets in the end zone twice. I think he's going to run all over this weak Saints defense.
I love it. The last thing that I'll talk about before we go, Drew Kaiser, is this the week that he finally figures out how to be an NFL punter, or are we going to be struggling through this all year long, Justin?
We got to hold his hand or what?
Yeah.
Does he need his mom to come watch him?
Actually, you know what? I think that maybe he'll have the day off today, and he's going to do a lot of holding. Maybe he won't even have to punt today.
Hope you're so right, man. I hope he's just doing the holding for Lambeau. But if we do, knock on wood, we don't have to punt today. But if we do, he's got to step up a little bit. We know that he's better than what is going on the field. He was the punter, of the century for a reason. This kid is well touted. He comes from like a Hunter Henry background. He's just the best at his position. So give him a little time. I'm sure he's just kicking off the nerves and the rust a little bit. Let's see how this kid performs. Don't give up on it yet.
And before we go to David, will we return a kickoff past the 25 today?
Yes, I do believe. I was actually going to say that another bold prediction. We're going to have a huge special teams play in this game. I think there's a potential for it. Maybe Dexter McCluster gets back there and returns a kick and takes it 50 yards. I could definitely see that today.
Or maybe Travis Benjamin taking, he's had a couple where, he got like 8, 12 yards where it looked like he was so close to doing something, couldn't quite turn the corner. Maybe Travis Benjamin takes one to the house today.
Love to see that.
Yeah, I want him to be busy today. I want him to be going, God, I'm tired of catching punts today.
I would like to do my bold prediction, which I forgot to do.
Okay.
Just because I want to be included. Hunter Henry gets 2 touchdowns today in the red zone. He's going to be a big part of this offense. And I did select a score of 42-17, so there'd be plenty to go around to everybody. It'd be like Christmas Day for the Chargers offense.
Yeah, Dexter McCluster and Hunter Henry, big games according to Justin. I love it too. I was so happy when they signed McCluster. I see really, really good things. He's the perfect fit.
And we had already touched on, and he's not Danny Woodhead, and nobody expects him to be, but filling a little void there and getting a guy similar an attribute with a little more speed was key for us.
Yeah.
And Phillip was really close to connecting with Dexter McCluster in the last game, so I think they have another week to get their chemistry going, and I think we're gonna see the fruits of their labor.
Yes, sir.
Here today.
I think you're right. I'm looking forward to it. I like what Justin said about coming off of a loss. We've lost 2 games that we should have won. Last time we lost a game we should have won, we came in and we balled hard.
Yeah.
Let's hope we see that again. I want to see them just wipe the floor. I want everybody to say, oh, that's why Drew Brees isn't in San Diego anymore.
Go Chargers, boys.
Go Chargers. David, thanks a lot. I knew you had work stuff going today. I appreciate you being able to get in and help us out this morning. We love talking to you on Wednesdays and especially on Sundays, man.
Thanks for squeezing me in, guys. Love the show. Love talking Chargers football.
Thank you, bro. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
All right.
Thank you.
Go Chargers, guys.
Go Bolts.
Go Bolts.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.